Hi there everyone, I'm Mark from Folkway Music. I hope you're doing really well today. I have this guitar with me here today, which is a bit of a treat for me. It's a 1954 D-28 that back in 2012, 8 years ago, I converted to a late 30s spec D-28 with a red spruce top and a new neck. And I haven't seen it in 8 years, and it arrived earlier this week with FedEx. I opened the box yesterday, and it's pretty cool. I'm happy to see it. I was really scared, to be honest with you. I was scared to see this guitar because it was made a long time ago, and I'm a bit of I'm probably my own worst critic of the work that I do, and I was worried that I would see it and I would feel like, oh man, I suck, and I don't. Hey, right on. So that's very exciting for me. It's opened up really nicely. I last time I played it, the guitar was a week old, and no guitar, even the best guitars in the world, generally don't sound good after only being strung for a week. And so now it's had 8 years, and I'm happy. It's very loud. It's powerful. It's a great flat picker. I can't flat pick upside down for the life of me, and G chords are terrible for left-handed people upside down, so I can't even show you any bluegrass chops. I'd love to, but I just can't do it too well, so I just kind of have to take my word for it. It's powerful and clean and fundamental and balanced, and basically everything that I would personally want in a flat picking guitar. It's got all the cut that you could want and the underlying power to help it through. Anyways, so it was built with a red spruce top. I copied a 37 D-28 that I had in the store. I measured it all up and got the braces as accurately as I could, and the bridge plate. And there's a new bridge that was made for it. Nowadays, you can buy a ridiculously perfect 30s style Martin bridge from TJ Thompson. He's made them available that he has programmed a CNC to carve out, to a thousandth of an inch accurately, and so you can buy those bridges now. But before, in 2012, that didn't exist, and so there's one that I built. I used to make lots of these bridges. It's not worth our time any longer as repair guys because you can get them from TJ and saves an awful lot of time, and they're perfect. So why not? So. But that was one that I built, and this has a zigzag back strip. It's got herringbone. It's got ivory, new end graft as well. I remember slaving for days about making that rosette so that it looked, like the 1937 one that was in front of me, and that took a long time. I'm not jigged up to do retops so much, and so. To make one, you have to make all the tools to do it. You've got to make your jigs for cutting out the sound hole. You've got to figure out what the bridge plate's going to look like, etc. The only thing I didn't do about this guitar that was accurate was the pick guard. It's not glued under the finish, as was done in the 30s, really up until the 80s. As a repair person, I don't like under finished pick guards because down the road they develop top problems, cupping and cracks along the edges, and I fix a lot of those. And so this is an adhesive back guard stuck over top of the finish. I just think that makes more sense. Anyways, the neck features a carve that very much copied from that 37. I really like the feel of it. I remember spending an awful lot of time getting this shape just right. I feel that's important to the look of a guitar, to have the heel shape A, appealing, and B, if you're going for historical accuracy, try to make it right. And a T-bar in the neck, and 2 5/16 and 1 3/4, the regular stuff, and hand cut diamonds and squares. It was a lot of work. I tip my hat to all those builders and repair people that do a lot of this kind of thing. They're probably not getting paid enough per hour. It's an awful lot of work to do one of these things correctly, and it's certainly rewarding. So there's a big part of it that is the reward of a finished product. Any craft endeavors like that. A guitar builder, it's all about the reward of your finished guitar. But as a guy who does mostly repair and restoration, I don't do a lot of building, and I've only done a handful of retops, so it was a fun project. Anyways, it's nice to see it again. This guitar was owned by a country singer by the name of Dick Curlis. Here's a record of his that I've kept around since that time, Traveling Man. Dick was active in the 50s and 60s, really into the 80s, but mostly in the 60s. And he had a number 5, I think it topped out at number 5, country music, on the country music Billboard chart, hit with, what was it called, A Tombstone Every Mile. And it was on the charts for, I think, about 3 months. He had about a dozen top 40 Billboard country hits. And this was his guitar. It was pretty well trashed. It's got all this bar top finish on it. It's been refinished, and the top is really, really thin, which is why it's come off. It's not riddled with cracks the way a lot of retops would be, but the top thickness was down to about 60% of spec, which is crazy, crazy thin. There's some repairs on the inside, nothing insurmountable. This is all undoable, but the bigger problem was that the top was just so thin, and that the owner of the guitar wanted a pre-war spec guitar, so this was a good candidate. Put a red spruce top on it and take the Sitka one off. If it was a 53 in this condition, maybe if the top was thick enough, you'd try to save the top because it's an old red spruce top. That would be really cool. But this one was just too thin to keep. Here's the neck. This is the best part. Check that out. Dick Curlis. And yeah, and the whole thing has this faux wood grain, faux tiger maple wood grain on it, and the back painted headstock. It's a piece of art on its own. Anyways, I've kept these things as souvenirs ever since I worked on this guitar, and it's neat to reunite them. Anyway, so that's what that's about, and I thought I would give this one the old show and tell. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time around. All right, everyone, stay well and play lots of guitar. Talk to you soon.